Greetings, greetings. This is Body-Culinary. Send you all some warm, positive vibrations. So, let me get some water. So, shout out to all of my early risers. I am indeed an early riser. It's the most bestest time of the day. It's a time where you can really hear your thoughts as well as the crickets and the birds and your divine onboard innate intelligence. It's usually a communication system that's going on. And I find you're more likely to hear it and to be discerning of it in the wee hours. So, welcome to this channel. If you haven't been to this channel before, I share my journey of radical self acceptance. I share my journey of radical self acceptance, a lifestyle of consuming whole, fresh, unprocessed foods. Trying to mic today. Whole, fresh, unprocessed foods. I share encouragement to cultivate and start a garden or start growing something. Everyone can grow something, as well as a movement practice. So, those are some methods of self-care that we all have available to us that are free. So those are some of the things that I share on this channel. So today in this early day, moving around quietly, my contemplation is, and you're always welcome to share respectfully in the comments, is your story holding you back? Now, your life story, the story that you may share with others or that you tell constantly, the story of your life. Now, it may be a very true story, valid story. We tell it because it's significant to us. It gives us meaning. However, even with the truth of that story, could that be holding you back? Something to consider. If it doesn't resonate, leave it right here, by all means. But the story that you constantly, if you sit with yourself in your quiet moments and you contemplate, when you have someone's ear, when you finally have someone's ear, someone you respect, someone who is a good listener, and you finally have their attention, what is the story that you tell people about yourself? Now, this is without making yourself right or making yourself wrong, right? Just so there's this thing on it that I share a lot: cultivating a listening, cultivating a quiet, so we can really discern our motivations, our self-sabotaging behaviors, why we do what we do, what gives us meaning, what is the driving force, right, for our trajectory and how we're making the decisions that we're making. So when you finally have someone's ear, are the stories that you're telling or sharing about your life, the ones you choose to share, or how do they make you feel? These stories, do they make you, let's say you share about something traumatic that has happened to you, very valid, something that's traumatic. Are you left feeling more clear, or, and these things may be all valid, that you've just vented, you got something off your chest? Is it something that you tell often, that it's the one story that you tell over and over again? And does it take up a lot of your time? Does it occupy a lot of your time, your mental space, and your energy? Could it be possibly that this story occupies so much of your mind? Does it have an undertone of unresolved issues, or could the story even have with it, if you were to play a tape back and to watch yourself and listen to yourself relaying the story, your tone of voice, are you triggered? Are you moved to tears? Are you angry? When you listen to the story, if you're sharing with another person, does the person feel sorry for you, or do they start crying, or is a common response like, wow, that's so sad, that's so awful? How do you exit the conversation? Do you ever consider how the conversation or that communication or the story you're telling, how it's making the other person feel? Are you both uplifted? Now, this is not to say that we should never share stories or things that are happening to ourselves. They're valid. Obviously, there's a need and a desire to feel heard if we're telling the story. There's definitely something there. I invite you to a healthy curiosity. And one of the reasons for this listening, this exercise of this listening, is because a lot of the things that we're saying in our story is usually giving us a clue to a lot of our unthinking or unconscious or autopilot behaviors. Are there some needs there that haven't been addressed? And do we even listen to these needs? Even beyond looking at videos and self help books, are we able to get quiet enough to discern the origin or the intention, the motives behind our actions? And so, again, more reason why I love the early day. And you may or may not find that the story that we're telling could possibly be holding us back from having new experiences, right? Because at what point do we add um, a new story and tell a new story, add another chapter to the story? Again, this is not to say these chapters aren't valid, but if they're occupying a lot of our time and a lot of our opportunities for new meetings with new people and new experiences, maybe perhaps with a healthy sense of curiosity, we could ask, what is our intention? How much is this story, is it taking up? Is it affecting my ability to be creative and to start a new chapter? So, just something I invite you to consider, because a story can become our identity without us realizing it. The story, and a lot of times, the trauma of what happened to us or the injustice, again, can be very valid that was done to us. And so, if we're looking for a constant ear to tell the story, again, not invalid, but at what point are we able at all to tell a new story, right? Do we find ourselves excited about new chapters and trying new things? Or do we have fears now, right? Based on the story that we're telling, what has become our identity, do we have fears about going somewhere new, traveling by ourselves, meeting new people, trying new foods? Are we just reaching out to the same things because of comfort? um, and soothing us from the trauma of the story, the memories of the story. So just something to consider, that our identity, all of who we are, can be wrapped up in the one or the few incidents that happen to ourselves. And even without realizing it, we could be missing out on life. And as we're watching on the projector of the mind and replaying, looping that story, having it on repeat, it's likely we may be had snacking on popcorn and snacks mindlessly as our subconscious is going through the whole gamut of emotions, watching this story, the story of our life, play over and over while we're aging. At the same time, life is not stagnant, it's moving forward. Right? We're so enamored and actually we could possibly be triggered into a state of paralysis around our story. And so, what can we do with the story? Is it possible we can close a chapter, read it, comprehend it, ask our own onboard divine innate intelligence? What is the lesson for me from this story? What is the gift of this story, this chapter in my life? And what would I like to experience now that has happened? Now what? What would I like to experience while I'm on this side of the dirt and in this plane of existence? How do I really want to experience my body temple? Is there anything, some clues, or is there anything that I would like to try, but I may be scared or inhibited about proceeding forward with it, or have so many thoughts? Again, this is where quiet can come in, where I have so many apprehensions and fear or just avoidance around this thing that I really want to experience or try, or a new skill. Um, but I'm inhibited because of my identity around this story. So just something to contemplate. And so I'm just going to take a few moments for some intentional relaxation. No religion required, no gurus required. So you're welcome to take a comfortable position. If you have issues with your back or your knees, you're welcome to sit upright in a chair and to tilt the bowl of your pelvis up so you don't have pinching in your lower back. And to take your belly button and pull it in to your spine, and to create a lot of space between your shoulder and your ears. Your eyes can be closed or open, and we're just going to deep breathe through the nose, inhaling and exhaling, paying attention to see if we have a nice, long, and rhythmic inhale and exhale. So you're welcome to take a few moments to ask a question of your own divine onboard innate intelligence, right? Which needs no middleman or middlewoman. Is there something that I'm missing? Is something that I'm not addressing? You can ask which direction you should go in a major life decision. You can also scan your body. Just do a scan from the toes all the way up to see if there's an area of the body that needs your attention. It's also a good time to take your journal and write a few words or sentences in your journal. Maybe perhaps something that you're working on or working through. It's a good time to just the ritual or the practice of writing in your journal can really help you free up a lot of mental space. Just that simple practice. So I invite you to replay this, perhaps in the afternoon or while you're decluttering, or maybe as you're making some beautiful, healthy food for yourself. You may want to lay on the floor for a few minutes during the course of the day. Sometimes it could even be in your office and shut the door and do nothing. Just lay on your back and breathe and do nothing and allow yourself to rest and to relax. It's a major part of radical self-acceptance. Accepting your hair, your skin, your eyes, your quirks, your story, putting them into perspective so we can free up some space, wipe a lot of stuff off of the table. Just take it off the table. Things that are unnecessary, that are taking up a lot of space where you can be having new experiences and experiencing the things you want to experience in this particular life cycle right here, right now. So I invite you all to create a great day on purpose. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and perhaps share with someone that could benefit. See you soon.